Didn't the other kids tell you not to come here? Go back before it's too late!
At the heart of horror, there has always been more than spooks and scares.
Sometimes, it's not what you see, but what you hear.
Welcome to Sound Scary.
Each week, we talk to the artists, the musicians, the fans, the people who haunt the shadowy corners of your mind.
Join us as we delve into the deepest,
Darkest.
and most unforgettable earscapes.
Welcome to Sound Scary.
Welcome to another episode of Sound Scary. I'm your host, Ryan Cultrera.
And don't forget, sounds a little scary. This is our special show. This is our spin-off show, man.
Usually our show is about horror movies and the world of horror, but we're going to do something a little different today because I'm a big old Star Wars nerd.
So our guest today is Tim Brehmer. You know, Tim, I'm calling this kind of a special interest story because we get a lot of filmmakers, we get a lot of writers, musicians on the show, but I saw you riding around Burbank, as did Ryan, as did our producer Rusty, as did my co-host on Something Stony, Justin. We've seen you running around Burbank. You're a goddamn legend.
It's awesome. I like your style.
My parents grounded me a lot as a child, so I had to entertain myself.
Have a good one.
This guy, I'm going to let you tell us what you do and why it's so special.
Well, when quarantine first hit, I always joked, I was like, I've been prepping for this my whole life. Like, my parents grounded me a lot, like, as a child, like, a lot, like, too much, some would say. But I had to be creative and entertain myself. So I was like, you know what? The Space Force had, like, just come out, and I was so mad that their uniforms were not stormtroopers. I don't know why someone in that room just didn't be like, just do stormtroopers, man.
Missed opportunity.
Because if I was president, I would have 2 red stormtroopers on either side of me at all times. Because you cannot attack a country that makes you laugh to the point where you piss yourself. Because my vice president will be The Rock, and definitely no one's coming after that guy.
Absolutely.
No doubt.
Yeah. I'll be like, okay, BP, go get him. The whole reason why, like, I moved out to California to become an actor from, I was from Ohio, Cleveland, Ohio. And I moved out to become an actor just because my friend's mother says, she goes, you would either be a firefighter or an actor. And I'm like, you know, those are 2 completely different careers, right? Like, one I could die horribly in. The other one, I die, but then I come back for the sequel. Like, I don't really die. And she goes, I could just see you being the type of person that just would go in to save someone because you're always willing to talk to somebody or doing this. And I moved out to California, and a friend of mine just out of a random bet was like, you should do stand-up. I was like, all right, hold my beer. And I went to the Ha Ha Cafe, and I ended up opening up for a guy named John Campanelli, and I ended up like 10 people coming. And he's like, how'd you get so many people to come out? And I was like, well, I have a lot of time on my hands, and they know I can mess with them worse than any other puzzle in the world. And they're like, we'll be there early. Just don't fuck with us. Just leave us alone. I've always been an entertainer, and I have what I like to call verbal diarrhea. I could talk to anybody about anything. And one day I was just feeling a little bit more depressed than normal. And was like I was saying in the interview, some people with depression, medicine can help. Some people, therapy can help, you know, and some people it's medicine and therapy that helps. And I've tried all of those, and none of them seem to actually work. The medicine would make me feel less like who I was, and the therapy just helped me realize I was really screwed up. So one day I was performing at the Comedy Store, and I got there, and there's only what I could describe as if Shrek came out a member of the Aryan Brotherhood. Because this man was like 6'6", 6'7", bald, tattooed, teardrops, not one, multiple coming down both sides. And he's sitting like this in the front row. And I'm like, you're obviously the first person I'm talking to. And none of the comics would say anything to this man. And he had a bear of a laugh, just And I get on stage and they're like, dude, don't talk to him. I'm like, he's sitting front row. He obviously wants attention, so I'm going to give it to him. He's like, it might be your last. I'm like, but then I will be a legend. I die because of a joke on stage. So I got on stage and I looked at him and I went, you know, Disney really fucks up their people, man. Just how long did you go to prison for? And he falls out of his chair laughing, and I flinched. And everyone's like, what's wrong with you? I was like, I thought he was going to get up here and beat my ass. And they're laughing. Everyone's laughing. I'm like, yeah, you're going to laugh too, because you're not going to do shit to stop him. You're going to be like, kick his ass, Seabass. And this man beat red, and I have him laughing hysterically. And after the show, I don't know if you guys ever been to the Comedy Store, but when you go to leave, the big circle that has the Comedy Store logo, a lot of the comics will hang around there. And I'm facing my buddy, and the audiences are leaving behind me. And I'm talking to my buddy, and he just looks at me and goes, oh shit, and he leaves. He has his hand on my shoulder, laughing and shaking me, and just going, find a happy place, find a happy place. And I'm looking at my other comics like, help me, and they're like, there's no such thing as white guy loyalty, man. You're dead. You're dead.
Wow.
And he just goes, you know, my wife died, and I stopped, and I went, this is not how I saw this going in my head. And I'm immediately like, did I say any dead wife jokes? Did I say any dead wife jokes? Anything about a dead wife? And he just goes, I didn't find the world funny anymore. And you were the first show that a comic actually talked to me. And I was like, well, you have such a conversationalist type face. I don't know why people don't talk to you all the time. Mm-hmm. And he patted me on the head like a dog that didn't pee in the carpet while you were gone at work. And then left. And I have never seen or heard from this man again. And it was right there that I knew that there is no greater drug in this world that will give you the feeling when you pull someone out of their shit day and you see it. I mean, there's the fake, haha, that's funny, please don't kill me type of laugh. Then there's the, oh my God, that's great. And you'll always tell, because they'll go like this, because they're laughing so hard, their face hurts. I love that kind of blitzkrieg comedy, if you will, where I just keep hitting you. And then I'll take a drink and they're like, oh my God. I'm like, I know, that's what she says every time. And then they go right back into it. And it's just, you hit them with it. And then quarantine hit. And I was back in my old ways with my depression. Like I was just moping around. I didn't want to do anything. And for my birthday, I got the skateboard. And I noticed that it didn't matter how much armor I put on. People were like, oh, look, it's a skateboarder. Never mind. There's no more skateboarder. But when you dress up as a Star Wars character, they're like, what's wrong with him? I don't want to hit him and not kill him because he might find me. So I originally had a stormtrooper outfit where I would pull up next to people. I'm like, Mom said, join the Space Force, she said. It'll be fun, she said. I'm joining for the uniform, and I'm supposed to be stationed Uranus, and I'm talking the dark side. And the looks on people's faces is instantly priceless. And when The Mandalorian came out, first off, I heard Jon Favreau was on it, and I went, I'll watch it, I don't care. Mm-hmm. Because he wants to do a Christmas movie, Elf, instant classic. He wants to do a superhero movie, starts the MCU. He wants to do Star Wars and save their universe, he does The Mandalorian.
Hell yeah.
And honestly, it was the first Star Wars show that made me feel like a kid watching episode 4, 5, and 6. Mm-hmm. In my little Care Bear zip-up onesie with my big bowl of cereal eaten with a ladle at 4 o'clock in the morning because I was grounded again and I wasn't allowed to have TV privileges. So I had to watch it before my parents woke up. And I just remember like instantly the feel, the story, the soundtrack, the amazing, brilliant acting and how they've made it where it's like he was a part of a religious zealot, but he didn't know that. And it was just so interesting because they never dove as deep as they did. Like, do you know why Boba Fett changed the color on his armor?
No.
The stripes?
Yeah, the color of them. So in Mandalore, yellow means revenge. So when he was working for the Empire, it was revenge for killing his father, Jango, which he finds out he's a clone of. But red means honoring your father. So he's honoring his father by wearing the armor when he showed and it like popped up. That's beautiful to me. Like you cannot write that better than that.
Oh, the attention to detail on the show is unbelievable for fans.
They spent $5 million on the puppet.
I love it.
Like,
wait, that's a puppet? I thought it was a real baby.
Yeah, they cloned that baby. Oh.
Okay, that's what I thought. Yeah.
I actually was pulled over in Beverly Hills, and I thought Karens were like unicorns. Like, I've never seen one in real life. She called the police because she said, I dressed up my child as Baby Yoda and had a real-life baby in my Baby Bjorn going down Santa Monica Boulevard through Beverly Hills. And I get pulled over, and I hear, Mando, pulling over. And I look behind me, I'm like, should I stay in the vehicle at all times? Like, what the shit, 10 and 2?
Yeah.
Should I turn the keys off and throw them outside? Like, what the hell? And he gets out of his car very angrily and just coming up and just goes, you can't have a... I went, you thought this was a real child?
Well, let's hope she watches this episode and she knows.
I wish I knew her name because I would drop it hard. I don't care. She can't sue me for anything. I don't have anything anyway. She can take Stormbreaker.
First time I saw you, we were in Burbank, and I walked up to the stoplight, and you were stopped there, and I was taking some pictures, and I started doing a video, and I had no idea that was an electric skateboard, and then you just take off flying, and it blew my mind. I'm like, I was not anticipating that. You just went, you're out of here.
It was mainly one of the reasons why I bought it was like, they're like, it goes 30 miles an hour. And I'm like, well, if I'm going to ride in traffic, I want something that's going to have me a kick just in case there's a car that I have to, like, people cut me off all the time.
Oh, I'm sure.
Oh, I'm sure, yeah.
I felt so... This is the only time I actually felt bad for hitting someone else's car. Mm-hmm. They had pulled in front of me at, like, last second. So all you can do was tuck into a ball. And I bounced off the car. And I landed on the sidewalk. And I went, fingers, toes, neck. I'm not paralyzed. And I'm like, what is wrong with you? Can't you see me? It's a silver outfit. Like, it's not hard to miss me. And the two nicest old people got out and were like, we are so sorry. And I was like, why can't you be mean to me? And she goes, why would you want me to be mean? I'm like, because then it's just my fault that I hit you, and I'm fine.
Dude, I was in the car watching you, and it just happened. My wife was like, oh my God, my wife loves the show. I watched 4 episodes. I don't watch it anymore. It's not my thing.
That's okay.
But like,
but continue.
Hey, that's okay though. That's okay though.
Yeah, look, and but even I, who, I like the show. It's just, I don't like TV. Even I'm like, that's fucking cool. And that's bringing like a smile to people's faces. You're not asking for money. You're not doing any of that. You're just doing your thing. What? But I mean, have you ever done cosplay? I mean, was there a kind of a bump to trying to do this?
No, like I had never really done cosplay. Like I always kind of wanted to, like it just seemed so much fun, but I never had the time because I had so many survival jobs as an actor, like drone pilot, priest. That's actually a funny story.
How has this changed your life in the sense that you're getting recognized by random fucking people?
There's a gentleman today, he had spotted me, and it was through a friend of a friend that were like, hey, I actually know that guy dressed as a Mandalorian. All I did for this guy was this. And I just did a finger wave salute. Mm-hmm. And when I got back, my friend sends me this huge page that he wrote about how he was so depressed and he was crying every day. And his wife said, let's go for a walk. And they saw me, and just by me waving, that can change someone's life dramatically. And it's this easy. As it progressed with like the Stormtrooper to the Mandalorian, I knew that was the one because everybody recognized it right away. And the first season, people were kind of like, all right, it's a cosplayer or whatever. But then I started doing the stories where I'm joking with people. I look at them, I'm like, my parents grounded me a lot, so I'd entertain myself as a child, and they always lost it. Or I'm like, I joined the Space Force for the uniform. Or like, I'm just taking the kid for a stroll. Like the funniest thing is when I go into weed shops dressed like that.
Yeah, I'm sure.
I'm like, I'll walk out and they're like, you shouldn't be showing kids that. I'm like, I'm not smoking that Tatooine spice.
Exactly.
I used to work in practical effects, so I always like to know like how things are made. How did you go about making your suit?
But yeah, so like the helmet, each piece. So it's actually a BioShield helmet. So this part right here is actually cut out from an actual big BioShield. So it counteracts as a mask as well. So I mean, you can kind of see what I see through there.
Oh, very
I mean,
cool.
that little slit.
Oh my gosh.
So, but when I have it on,
swivel.
yeah, but when I have it on, I can see pretty much here to about 180 almost, maybe a little less, like 170. So I have to turn a little bit. But the funny thing is the jetpack. This is an ocean spray bottle cut in half. These are 2 water bottles. If you can see by the top, you can actually see the little screw. And then the bottom were 20-ounce bottles that I cut off and made them look like. And I actually have a smoke bomb that goes right in here. So when I go around, I'll just bend down and it looks like an actual jetpack.
Nice.
And then Baby Yoda was just in one of these little baby Bjorns that I secured him to.
That's
Yeah,
great.
hold it up so people can see where to find you too.
Oh,
yeah. Let's plug
brilliant.
your socials
Yeah,
there.
so
Yeah.
this is my Instagram, and then this is my TikTok, Mando the Manchild.
Well, thanks again for joining us, man. And that is a new episode of Sounds a Little Scary, guys.
And the only thing I ask of you guys is just to do that. You don't have to follow me. You don't have to. If you want to, that's awesome. But all I really want you to do is just this. Smile and wave. That's all you gotta do. Yeah. It's the cheapest, easiest challenge to do. Just